Good evening, one and all. Welcome to your Monday night fix of MRC racing. Here we are in the beautiful Arden Forest in the lovely country that is Belgium. And here the Tier 2 boys and girls are going to start off your week's racing action with round 3 of season 19. My name's Chris. You probably haven't heard me for a while because I've been away from the commentary team. But I'm proud and happy to be back. And I'm joined today by my good friend from Tier 1. He's a formidable fast man from South Africa. It is Skulk, aka CISDP, every alphabetical letter ever, SPM. Hello, sir.
Hello, how are you doing, Chris?
I am fantastic. How are you, mate?
I can't complain. You know me. I always try to be happy. I don't always get it right, but I'm excited for the race tonight, and hopefully Tier 2 can give us some interesting and great racing.
I think so too. That'd be great if it stays dry or if it stays wet. Whatever the weather, I'm sure we're going to have a very busy, very exciting, and very hard fought race both tonight in Tier 2 and in Tier 1 later on. We'll come back to Tier 1 later because obviously we're both going to get a little bit dicey on track ourselves. But first, we have, I think, the most competitive and tight fought tier in MRC, Tier 2. And so far, it looks to be dry. Just on the pit exit, seeing G-Star in the very lovely looking RB. And it looks very, very clear, sunny, happy. So if any of the Tier 2 boys or girls on track could let us know in the YouTube comment what they see in the weather forecast coming for both the quali and the race, that would be great. And anyone else who's listening in, feel free to say hey. It's dry, says Martin Hills, aka Single Track Red 5. He says it's dry. He's not happy. And Andrew Mornster says hello. So hello to you both. Good luck, everyone.
I was hoping for a bit of rain, make it interesting, even if it was just some changeable conditions.
Yeah,
But
I agree.
you can't always get what you want.
No, you can't, unfortunately. First contract is Mark Hodgson, Mark H90 in the Ferrari. So he's a guy that we know very, very well from his Tier 1 days not so long ago, just last season. Speaking of Tier 1, we have GTS Drag King, we have Nick BT, and who else have we got from Tier 1 that's racing tonight? I think that's just those two. They will have to follow the higher tier reserve rules of no qualification and no use of the soft tyres today, but we'll touch on those guys later. We're going to stick on board with Mark as he approaches the bus stop chicane. He's going to start his first flying lap. Hello to Ashley Baseman, who has just popped up in the chat. Hello, Andrew. Ashley, even. Oops, good friend of Andrew. That's why I said Andrew. But here we go. Mark Hodgson's going to start a lap. Scott, do you want to talk us through a lap of the Belgian circuit?
Okay, so Mark starting his lap got the RS open, using some battery going into the first corner. He'll have to brake just before the 100-meter board. He has a small lockup, but still gets the nose turned in, so I think he'll be fine on the run down to our Rouge, and then that's Radion actually coming up. Still using some battery. It looks like he is very aggressive on the battery in the first part of the lap. It's all flat out through here, 340 kilometers per hour. Brake just after the 100-meter board, and he's actually having a great lap thus far, using all the exit curve there now into the downhill right, and it's always difficult. You most likely get a lock up most of the time. No name corner on the left-hander, and he spins as he just went a little bit wide.
Oh, no.
Coming out of the corner.
Very unfortunate there, out of no name.
So sorry, Mark.
So we're going to jump on board Pole Skips in the Mercedes. He's just at the point where Mark has unfortunately hit the wall, so he's heading down the hill into Pouon. 25 metres, you want to throw the car in, downshift once if you're in 8th, or keep it in 7th if you're in 7th, and plant the throttle as soon as you hit that first apex into the S's.
And now
it's such a fun section
going into the left-hander. Yeah, it's a fun section, very difficult, which not a lot of people talk about. Now down to 4th into the right-hander, eat as much of the outside curve as possible, and then it's flat out all the way down to the bus stop chicane. He's still got a lot of battery left, and he's using it smartly throughout the lap. We see him. He needs to brake at the 100 more or less. He does brake at the 100-meter board. Goes down to second, gets the nose turned in, and now it's just plant the throttle up to the line. 143.0. Not
banker.
as fast as I thought he would have gone, but good banker, and he can definitely go quicker than that.
Yeah, Wayne did a 42.7 as his opening lap. That is a fantastic opening time. G-Star 43.1.
Smith with a 44.6 and Bit W with a 44.5. A little bit off the pace, but I think we can expect more from those two as the session goes on as well.
Yeah, I agree. Monster with a P5 43.5. That's not a bad banker either. Some good early opening laps here from the boys and girls of Tier 2. And like you said, I think there's plenty more to come. Plenty more.
Connor was running out of battery before the end of the lap. I think he might have to look at his battery usage, because I definitely think there's a few more tenths in it. Now look at Single Track, who looks to be on a fast lap as well.
Yeah, he got a big toe off of, I think it was pole skips on the way down to Lecom, which was definitely going to help him on that straight.
Yeah.
Looks very planted in sector 2, 14.7 at the intermediate point. It's a good middle sector.
Yeah, I think he's got a lot of battery left to use across this final few corners. As you can see, unlike some of the other drivers, he's now got it into medium and just waiting to use that last bit out of the final corner. As you'll see,
down a bit there though.
Last dash, yeah.
42.7, great lap, and it's 2,000ths off of Wayne's, so very close at the top already between Mr. Hills and Mr. Wayne. Very good opening lap, and there's definitely more to come, I think, like you said earlier.
Definitely.
So who can we look at? Fake Connor's not on a lap. Lucas is not on a lap. Is Bit on a lap? No, he's not. He just got out of battery. Yeah, looks like everyone's either on an out lap or an in lap.
Yeah, I think Kaiser, if he does have enough fuel, after invalidated, no, he doesn't. I'll just take the dash on his car. He doesn't have enough fuel. Was unlucky to invalidate. Had a fairly decent first sector, but unfortunately just crossed the line a bit.
Airways is the first person due to start a lap. He's on an out lap. He's in the Alpine in sector 3. Sorry. So we're going to just jump on board with the Alpine. Controversial opinion, but I think the blue and pink of the Alpine actually is quite striking. Because it's different, I quite like it. This season, I don't think we're going to see cars quite as vivid. I know they're saying about more of the car needs to be painted than carbon this year, which is great, but I don't think we're going to get quite as vivid a livery design as the Alpine across the board, really. But it would be nice if we saw some more striking liveries in F1, like the old yellow and black Jordan back in the day, the red and white Toyota, blue and teal Sauber, for example. Those were all very strong liveries, and I think more colours like that would be great.
Yeah, I miss those days as well. Even the it's a controversial one, but the blue and green Sauber that we had in 2004, I believe.
Beautiful, yeah, beautiful. The Petronas sponsored.
Yeah, I
Sauber.
like that as well.
Yeah, I really like that.
Yeah,
the arrows as well, the orange and black arrows. I know McLaren is kind of representing that, but I liked that. That was smart as well.
Yeah, I did like that as well. And you know, on this year's game, I like the Alpine most for its steering wheel.
Yeah, it's a very big wheel, yeah, compared to the others.
I like it.
I do too, actually. I quite like Pierre Gasly, so I'd like to see Alpine do well. Bear in mind, by the way, just notice Airways is on the 14.5 in the sector 2. Martin, when he was on board with last, was 14.7. 2 tenths up on
than what Poles is.
Exactly, so this could be a cracking lap from Airways. Let's stay on board with him through the bus stop. We'll stay actually in the car with him. He brakes very late for the bus stop. Hooks it up just ever so sweet on that first apex. Bit wide on the second one on the exit. And here we go, across the line, 42.6. Great lap from Zach, aka Airways. And here we go, the times are starting to tumble. Polskeeps is on an out lap. G-Star's just started the lap.
Yeah, Stube is coming around the final corner to end his lap, as it looks like he's going to be in the 43s.
43.3, yep. One person who is on a lap at the moment as well is Mark H90. He's just coming to the bus stop. He's got traffic ahead though. The RB ahead of him. Oh, he's got some dirty air, bit of wash mid-corner. He's going to be upset about that one. And he goes P6 temporarily. That was Monster ahead of him in the other RB. Don't know if that was a slipstream that he got from him or whether that was just dirty air, but Monster's just started his lap, so I don't think he'd have intended to block him, but he may well have given Mark some turbulent air at a part of the track where you just need to hook the front end up. That little bit of wash could have made the difference.
Yeah, and it doesn't just affect the front end, it also affects the rear end grip that you've got going through a corner, and like we saw with Mark, he had a little bit of a snap going into the bus stop, and I think that cost him some time. So we can definitely expect Mark to improve on that as well.
I think so. He's a very quick guy, but he's only, even with that little moment there, and we didn't see the rest of the lap, he's still only half a second off that time from Airways. But Airways teammate Lucas Jaronic, he is currently in sector 2 in the other Alpine. Decent first sector from him, a little bit wide through the S's, but see what his sector 2 checkpoint is. Lucas has shown glimpses of very good pace in his short time in MRC, and he's a second up on his current lap time. Current lap of 43.8. So this would put him in line with the top 4, somewhere between first and fourth, depending on his final sector. He's out of battery earlier though. Look, he's flashing all the way before Blanchimon. He's got a long way to go in this final sector with no battery. That's the thing. If you use your battery too early, as you touched on when we saw on board with pulse skips, if you lose that battery early, you're losing a lot of straight line speed down that third and final sector. And he does go P4, 42.9. Good lap. That's both Alpines in the top 4 currently. That is a very strong representation for the French team. Pulse skips is improving, by the way. He's a 10th up at sector 2. Across the line, P4, 42.8. In the Mercedes.
Yeah, I think he was just a little bit over eager again on his battery. But he can, I know with his abilities, he'll be able to get that extra 2/10 and get up to Airways very quickly. Having a look at the, I was just about to say Connor, jumping up to P6. What a great lap from Connor.
Connor's a great guy. I really like Connor. He's always, every time there's a practice session or a fun race or another chance to prove himself in another tier, he always throws himself in. I love that. He's got a great attitude about wanting to improve, and he's hungry for more. He won his title in Tier 4 in his first season here, and he jumped straight up to Tier 2. And he doesn't look out of place. He looks firmly in the mix.
Yeah. And that's what I like about drivers. I respect it most when they got that attitude of they know they have areas to improve on, and they go out and ask for advice or even just get the miles in to improve. As we see Laupi now coming into the bus stop.
Yeah, just caught on that and
a little bit unsettled, and it's bogging down, no battery left, and a 44.3 as he crosses the line.
P15 here. He was P3 in Singapore at the end of the race, got a good podium. He was in a fight with Mark at the end of the race. They were fighting for that final podium position. It was hard fought throughout the race. There's a lot of strategy and battles following the safety cars, which definitely made it interesting for those involved. And Love, great podium from it. Another former Tier 1 driver looking to try and stake a claim at the top end of Tier 2 again. So, good to see. And hopefully he can find more time on that lap. 4 minutes to go. He'll need to do what he's just done and take a few corner cuts to get back to the garage in time because it's such a long lap.
Yeah. And now I need to ask you, Chris.
Go for it.
As someone with the experience, what do you do for your last before you start your last lap here at Spa, knowing that, listen, it's one of the longest laps, you can't get every corner right, and you might have been struggling with a sector or two. What's your mindset going into the final lap?
So, final lap on track. Obviously, hopefully you've got 2 solid laps in at this point. At this point, you can look for, not every corner, but a couple of corners where you dare to brake that tiny bit later. carry a little bit more speed or push that bit harder on the exit. If that lap you've already got some good solid laps in, you can afford to really throw it into a few corners a little bit harder. Look at your sector times in particular. So, for example, if you look at sector 2, which is probably the sector at this track you'd make the most time up, it's the part with the most corners. I'd look there and see where my time is compared to other people. If I'm losing a tenth or two there, that's where I'm going to push. The rest of the lap, you take it as before, but that sector there, you'd push that tiniest bit harder. So, personally, that's what I would do. Just be that little bit more aggressive. Maybe even adding one click of front wing to try and give yourself a bit more turning, just to try. Again, that's based on the sector 2. If it was sector 1 or 3, I'd actually drop the front wing by 1 to try and increase top speed slightly. And again, just be that little bit more aggressive on the lap. If you haven't already got your banker in, so if you're in the position of, say, we'll say Bit right now, Bit, Laupy, Smith, Demis Hornet, you're at the second half of the grid. You've not got a lap in that's maybe a lap you're happy with, perhaps. I would probably not push quite as hard because you need to secure a lap rather than go all in for a lap and risk nothing. So it depends what position you're in. If you're the likes of Elwayne and Airways, you might as well go hammer and tongue and just try anything as a gamble, really.
I definitely agree. So for me personally, if I had 2 great laps, before we go on board with Airways, if I had 2 great laps, I always have the saying of, it's either I'm going flat out and setting the best time I can, or I'm meeting Mr. Barrier, or there's no in between. Yep.
Barrier will claim us, or pole position will claim us. It's Barrier or pole position, nothing in between.
Exactly. As we see Airways now at the end of the first sector, only 100 up on his first lap.
He did twitch though on the entrance of Lecom. He had a big slap and then took too much curb. That could have cost him. And he's got a lot of lockup, bit of understeer down the hill before No Name. Used to be called Ravage. But we'll see at the end of the lap, well, the end of sector 2, we'll see where he is after that. But that did look a little bit messy from him. But then that could be, as we've just said there, that could be him just pushing that little bit harder, trying to find that tiny little improvement. He's currently a tenth, just over a tenth up on Elwayne, so that's, at most tracks, a tenth is a decent amount, but a track as long as Spa, a tenth is nothing. And he's still 100th up on himself, so any improvement is worth it at the end of the day. See what he can do as he approaches the bus stop. He's still got some battery left, you see he's not flashing.
Yeah.
See how late.
This might be a very good lap from the Aston Martin NP2 as he's 6 tenths up going through the second sector.
We'll jump back to him shortly. We'll just see Airways cross the line. 42.4! He found 3 tenths in the final sector. Here we go on board with Elwayne. Pressure is on. He's gone deep. He's gone deep in the bus stop, so maybe he's seen the time from Airways and panics, but he still goes fastest. 42.0. Wow. That's the kind of time I'm expecting to see in Tier 1, to be honest. Single track, what's he got? He's 300th down in Sector 1, but that does not mean he can't find time through the rest of the lap. Let's see what the Ferrari-man... He's very deep down the hill, very deep.
Mark might... he loses the rear end on the exit. He might go up into P4, and he does go up into P4.
42.8 for Mark. Great recovery from his early spin, but let's see what his teammate can do. He's currently going through Pouillon in the other Ferrari. I expect there's a huge train of cars just ahead of single track actually. So, hopefully getting out of the way. Yep, just in time. And Martin is 2 tenths up on his lap. So this will put him in contention with Airways for P2. Let's see how he finishes the lap.
Andrew goes into P5.
And does great lap from Monster there. Andrew Morn, P5.
Doesn't improve. Poles is going up into P3.
Great lap from pole skips. Let's see what single track can do. Through the bus stop he goes. Floors it to the line. 4.25. He goes P3. Steals it off a G-Star who went P3 briefly. Look how tight it is from P2 to P5. That. I mean, look at the gap as well between Mark in P7 And then Andrew in P8, again, less than half a tenth between them. Oh, it's beautifully close in that top. In fact, the whole way through, all the way up to, I'd say, P11 to P2. That is very representable laps between them all there. Great laps.
Yeah, and normally in the race it does tend to get a little bit closer when you've got the DRS and everything. But what a lap from Airways, and then he gets pipped by Alwine to put in an even greater lap.
Stu, by the way, very quietly snuck it into P6 in the Sauber, and 42.7. That's a very good lap as well.
What a lap!
Tell you what, there's some really competitive times on the board there.
Some of these guys might have me worrying in Tier 1.
I'm thinking the same thing. Mark in the YouTube chat says he lost 2 tenths with the final corner incident that you were talking about, Skulk, which obviously that would have cost him potentially P4, looking at the timing screens, which we'll run through. That's P4, it potentially cost him, but pace for the race is there for him. But let's look here. Elwayne on pole by 4 tenths of a second to Airways. Single shot P3, G-Star P4, great lap in the RB. P5 for pole skips with Stu, P6, 7th Mark, 8th Monster, 9th Lucas, and 10th Kaiser Soze. The rest of the grid rounded out by Fake Connor, Alex Jarek, Dumas Hornet, Smith, Laupe, Bit, and then non-qualifiers in GTS Drag Queen, Nick BT, Moritz, and Jackster. Moritz and Jackster are on qualifying bans, and Nick and GTS are on higher tier reserving rules, therefore cannot set representable lap times. So we have the 5-minute break, which allows the drivers to prepare themselves, and it allows us to have a quick little chit chat about what I think is many people's, well, one of their favourite tracks. I don't know if it's everyone's favourite, but it's a track that most people do enjoy. So obviously we've got 22 laps of this beautiful circuit. In real life it's 44. It's the longest lap of the Formula 1 calendar, and in terms of distance, one of the longest lap times for sure. Last year, Tier 2's pole position, so last season was C8 Lou, who's no longer with us. He was the champion that season. He did a 42.1. Okay. Now, obviously, Elwayne's just done a 42.0, so he's already beaten the previous pole position time that Tier 2 had here.
Elwayne.
Which is great, because that shows that Tier 2's pace is increasing. Just shows how competitive the tier is, and it's great to see. C8 Lou went on to win that race with Freddie Olsen and Maka coming second and third. Freddie and Maka are both racing in Tier 1, and C8 Lou, before leaving, also went to Tier 1. And the fastest lap was taken by Armar Red, which is a 45.0 in the race. So that's the lap time that the guys at the front end, I'm sure, will be looking to poach at some point during the race. That'll be a great lap in race conditions.
Yeah, it would.
I'm expecting...
So I
go ahead.
went on to have a look at it. And I think going into the first corner, we have something interesting going up the Eau Rouge Radion. I think it's going to be interesting. I just hope, I beg people to keep it clean, please.
Yeah, so something that my good friend Ant, who also races in Tier 1 with us, said yesterday whilst we were discussing plans in the Sauber garage for our team today, was that going up the hill into Radion, through Eau Rouge into Radion, if you are the car ahead, if you've got a nose ahead or a wheel ahead, it's your line going through there, as long as obviously you're not forcing a car off track. If you're behind, even slightly, realistically you've got to lift there, because for two cars to go side by side through that sequence, you're both lifting, one of you lifts, or if neither of you lift, you're going to have a crash. And if you're at the front and you have a crash, you're taking most of the grid out with you. If we have that kind of event, that will obviously be a huge shame for the race. But that would be an appropriate occasion for Eau Rouge, which literally translates as red water, and that's because of the river that runs to the bottom end of the undulation there. We saw it with Mark Webber and Fernando Alonso back, I believe it was 2012, when they went side by side into there, and Webber went around the outside of Alonso to take position in the Red Bull against the Ferrari, which was iconic. But obviously in that occasion it looked great, but Alonso did lift, which shows even the most wise and experienced of F1 drivers in real life will lift there rather than going side by side the whole way up the hill. It does not make sense.
Yeah.
But I'm expecting a one stop from the majority of people today. You can do a 2-stop here, but realistically the 1-stop is the sensible plan. Medium tyres can do anywhere between 1 and 10 laps. The hard tyre can do near the race distance, not necessarily the whole way. The pace on both tyres will drop off towards the end of those stints, of course, so you want to try and plan where you switch between the tyres, depending on how well you can manage them, but also to try and fit into a nice gap in the traffic and not lose track position if you can. I don't know about you, Scott, but I quite like a good battle here. It's a track where you can go side by side through most of the circuits and the corners in the circuit. You can fight.
It is.
And you've got a particular corner here that you like to make a move. You've got a personal favourite?
So, for me personally, my favourite corner to make a move, where I mostly make my moves, is it's either the bus stop chicane.
Yep.
Or if I'm feeling cheeky and I really want to do it, then I always like to have a look up the inside of Puan. But
I've done that myself a couple of times, and if you get it right, it feels great. But I tell you what, if you get to the apex and that person's still hanging on the outside, one of you's got to lift pretty quick, or again that becomes a plane crash quick, doesn't it? It does become quite scary. And if you're behind someone doing that, it's not great. I've lost a wing doing that before.
Really?
Yeah, I had a collision. I'm not going to name names. I'm not going to pass blame. But I went up the inside of someone there. I felt like they should have probably left more room. They turned across. I then hit them, went over the inside curb, bounced back across the track and took 2 more people, and all 4 of us went off on the right-hand runoff.
Oh no.
And that was on a safety car restart. So, not great.
Wow.
I will accept personally that was not great on my part, but speaking of safety cars, they are possible here. Obviously, the walls, as you can see on the start-finish straight in particular, they are not far from the circuit, and it is a very high-speed track. But
I'm calling it right now. We won't have a safety car this race.
I was going to say the same thing. I don't think we'll have a safety car either, because firstly, the MRC driving standards is very respectable most of the time. And secondly, apart from when I'm sending it into Puan, and secondly, and most importantly, the circuit, as you can see on the Camel Straight here, you see how wide they're able to weave. You can see there's a good 4 cars width. We've seen in 2017 Hamilton, Vettel, Ocon, and Perez, all 4 side by side going into turn into the start of Le Combe, the 3-part corner. You can get plenty of cars wide, which gives you room to battle, gives you room to have those fights and those tussles without meeting the edge of the track. So I have faith that we, like you, will not have a safety car, because it's not like an old school track where the walls are close and there's nowhere to go. There is close walls, but there is plenty of runoff. And now that we've said this, of course we're going to have 4 safety cars and 2 VSC.
Or 5.
Of course we are. We're gonna have them all. But you know,
so,
who's your prediction for the win?
So my prediction for the win is, you know what? I'll give you my top 3 prediction.
Okay, let's go.
And it's not to put anyone down or anything, but I think since we just jinxed the safety car thing, I think the top 3 will consist of Tingle Track winning the race, Stoob 2nd place, and Andrew in 3rd. I'm going for a weird one here. And yours, Chris?
So I'm sticking with my pole position claim. I've got a feeling that Polski's going to do well. He's got great race pace. I think Elwain will be on the podium with him, and I think G-Star will take the final spot. So Polski, Elwain, G-Star.
Okay, that's a good shout. I think that's the more accurate sound if there isn't anything crazy happening. As we get ready for the lights, the lights almost to go out. I'll let you take us through the first few corners.
So here we go. All the cars are on the grid, and now we just wait for those blessed lights. Here we go. And the lights are lit. And here we go. We are racing here in Spa-Francorchamps, and it's a fantastic getaway from Elwain. Airways is bogged down off the line. Single Track having a look at the inside, as is Monster round the outside in the RB, but he's in the gravel. The RB's in the gravel, as was Mark behind him, and that's just what Elwain would have wanted to start, was all the guys behind having a bit of a tussle.
And there's a huge crash at the back.
Oh no, Monster is out. That looks like a safety car straight away.
Yeah. So it looked like one of the cars didn't give Monster any room on the inside, almost like what Ocon did to Perez in 2017.
Yes, when they were teammates.
Yeah, it was a very similar case of what happened right here.
That is such a shame, because I'll be honest, that was probably the best qualifying I've seen from Andrew in quite a long time, if I'm being really honest.
And I just gave him a shout to be on the podium.
So between me praising his qualifying, you saying he's on for the podium, and us saying no safety cars, we're not taking any blame for this, by the way. Even though we've said all those things, we are not taking any blame. All things aside, I'm really sad for Andrew, because no one wants to finish their race so early into the session. That was really rough. I think he. In fact, Bergen has called it. A little bit more. I think he deserved a little bit more space there. I'm sure we'll see it in the stewarding.
Squeezed into the wall.
Bergen called it a safety car for a 15-car pile-up. Well, not far off. And Ashley Baseman says, "Yep, he's blaming us." Yeah, you know what, Ashley, you can blame me. I will take this one for the team. Feel free to wipe back in the steward's box and say at Chris Bailey 517
isn't real.
Yeah, at Chris Bailey 517, 25 points, 25 suspended for causing a collision that ended the race by speaking on the comms box prematurely. There it is. Put it in the steward's box. Is anyone going to be brave and throw it into the pits?
You know, I would have, based off all the practice that I did.
Yes, we have Nick BT. Oh no, he's one of the higher tiers. He has to pit. Apologies, I got excited prematurely. Lorpy's pitting. Lorpy is in.
It's Jack. Okay, so
GTS and Fake Connor are in. GTS has to pit due to higher tier rules. But yeah,
Lorpy
Fake Connor's
doing
in.
A new wing.
Yeah, Fake Connor needs a wing as well. So put the hard tyres on, boys. See how far you go. Whack those mediums on later on. You can definitely do some damage.
And looking at it, Lorpy is on the. So he is on the hard tyres now. So is Fake Connor. And this should get them, if they do some tyre nursing throughout the race, I think they should go to the end.
Definitely. So if the safety car will probably come in, not the end of this lap, the end of next lap, that will leave them with 19 racing laps. From what I've tested, and from what you tested, and what we discussed, it's possible to make it to the end. You will have a pretty difficult few final laps, and I don't think they'll be enjoyable. However, it's possible. That said, with 8 to 10 laps to go, they can pit for a set of mediums or even a set of softs later on if they wish, depending on how they're feeling. But again, that would depend on what their tyre life management would be. But let's just have a look at what position change we've got. Obviously, we know the issue for Monster being 12 places down from his initial 8th place in the grid down to last because of the DNF. Other droppers are Lorpy and Fake Connors, we know they just pitted, and then G-Star's dropped 2 off the start. Everyone else has made ground. Jackster is 7 places up, last on the grid, P13. Moritz, 19th on the grid, is P12. So those two have really benefited from the chaos. Other notable movers, 3 places up for Dumbest Hornet, 13th on the grid. He is now residing in P10. And then nice little games for Pole Skips and Stoob. They're 1 place up each. Interestingly, the top 3 are as they were on the grid. All 3 of them.
Yeah, it's such a short run down the line, down to the from the line to the first corner. But I definitely would have thought there would have been a move up the Camel Straight, but of course we had the
we were
safety
deprived,
car.
Yeah. We were deprived of that prime race start Camel Straight battle. Which is a shame, actually. Because it's iconic. That race start side-by-side tussle through the first sector, you know, it's one of the most iconic things, not just in Formula 1, but in other forms like WEC. Do you ever watch the World Endurance?
Yes, I do.
I'm quite a big fan myself. Even then, the hypercars, you see them all going, and they have a rolling start quite often anyway. When they're side by side down the straight, just like in Formula 1, you sit there and think anyone could position the car at the inside here and send one, or who's going to be latest on the brakes. And it's such a different formula of racing, and yet it's also so brilliant at this incredible race circuit.
Yeah, and even we can also be happy that even with the safety car restart, you can also get that racing feeling. So hopefully, Airways single track gives us some racing for the lead. Because as we know with Vettel and Hamilton in 2018, I think, going up Al Rouge, Radion, having that great fight after the safety car restart. That's what makes this track so unbelievable.
It does.
Yeah.
This is firmly in the mix for, I'd say, in the top 3 for best circuits in F1 ever. Personally, for me, it's superseded by Suzuka. Suzuka is my ultimate favourite, followed by Spa. But I know for many, they would say Spa is best. But it's crazy to think that we're not going to be racing here every year going forward. They'll be rotating it with other tracks, which I think is just disgusting. It's the best circuit in the eyes of so many drivers, so many fans, and we're not going to race here every season.
And before we get started again, I know a lot of fans complain about the rain delays and races being cancelled or sessions being cancelled due to rain. I have a fun fact for you of IRL Formula 1. Fog has caused more delays and cancellations than rain has at the circuit. And it's not that like there's been fog over recent years at Spa. I haven't seen much foggy sessions in recent times, so I say keep it.
I personally would agree, keep it. It provides good racing, the drivers enjoy it.
As we see, Elwayne going for
Airways nearly hits the back of Elwayne into the bus stop. Elwayne plants the throttle, big slide on the exit, and he's got a great jump on Airways. Just ran on board with Airways to see how they progress, and look at that into La Source. Airways has dropped back a little bit, and he's got Martin single track on his back. Martin needs to be more worried though about pole skips in the Mercedes. He is super close to the back of the Ferrari. Let's jump on board. Actually no, Martin's used a bit of battery to pull the gap slightly, so he looks safe suddenly. Is anyone further back that looks close? As they all come over the top of the hill?
They were actually quite fine coming over the top of the hill.
There's a move. GTS on bit. GTS on. There's Williams on Williams. They're 2 different liveries, interestingly.
Yeah, just noticed that as well.
Smith on the back of the action there too. Your fellow South African looking to get in on the action. Always the hungry fighter is Smith. And he's got a very hungry Lorpy looking to make up for the opportunities earlier behind him, and then Fake Connor and Nick are in the mix too.
As we see Moritz and Dubbers Hornet now having a battle as well. They were side by side into No Name Corner. Now going through Puon.
As Kai Sozi runs very wide through Puon. That will probably be a first track limit for him. And Moritz running very wide.
To get track limits there.
Moritz really wide through the S's. That's lost him a lot of time. And look at the gap ahead of Moritz. 2.5 seconds and growing. Has he got damage? See why he'd be so slow. No, he's just not got the pace. But look at the difference in speed for Moritz compared to Thomas Hornet. You have to question.
I don't know why he's so slow. Maybe he's got too much drag on the car.
Yeah, has he got the right setup on? Has he selected default setup by mistake? I think he's got to have too much wing or something, because Thomas Hornet looks so much faster than him. They're now 3 seconds from the back of Kaiser Soze in P9. And let's just stay on board with Thomas Hornet as we rise up the hill. Elwayne, by the way, he's got over 1.3 seconds to Airways, so he's safe from the DRS. into the com. But let's stay on board with Thomas Hornet. This is an opportunity. Actually, we're going to skip forward to Single Track, who's making a move on airways into the com. Now we'll jump back. Apologies, everyone.
So Thomas Hornet isn't getting past him.
No, he's not. We just caught you on the straight there.
Even with DRS.
And Alex Jarek had to go straight on at the com. He nearly collects the back of them, and that's allowed GTS Drag King to get through. So maybe Moritz was just saving battery and harnessing, and Thomas Hornet was just abusing the battery, perhaps. We're not going to show the battery levels, so we're not going to give away any tactical gameplay to anyone watching. People do engineer from the stream to the drivers, so we don't want to give anything away. As much as that would be fun.
We see Nick making a move onto Poo on Smith. What a move from Nick.
That is, as you were saying there, the brave move. A brave move, but a fun one if you pull it off.
And, you know, he literally went full throttle. He didn't lift. And that's
oh no,
the bravery.
G-Star. G-Star's in the wall. He's lost his front wing. The exit of Stavolo. G-Star snipes in the RB. This is a bad day for Team RB. Monsters out the race early doors. G-Star with a broken wing, as you can see there. Now nearly at the back of the field. We'll have to abort and pit immediately to fix that.
As we see, GTS Drag King now all over the back of Dumbus Hornet. Dumbus Hornet is out of DRS range from Moritz. He's dropping a lot of positions right now and a lot of
whatever the issue was for Moritz, he's definitely found the answer. And yeah, look at GTS Drag King, a bit twitching the exit through turn 1, but Dumbus Hornet looking slow in the straights, which is weird because he looked so good on the straights earlier. Maybe he's used up his battery already, and he's just having to be saving it. Yeah, look at the speed difference between him and GTS already. He's side by side before getting DRS open. That's the easiest pass you'll see all day. As behind them, you can see Jackson being passed by Alex and Jarek, and then behind them, the Red Bull, being attacked by Lorpy. That's Nick and Lorpy are fighting together, and then the Williams of Bit is now on the back of Jackster and Alex as well.
Fights all over the place at the moment, as we see Nick locking up. Lorpy is getting close due to that lockup again, but Nick should be fine and be able to pull away and get after a bit soon enough.
So G-Star's made his pit stop. He's at the back of the field. He's going to have a lonely old race from here, but as we said earlier, he now needs just to put his foot down and go to the ends and see what he can do. But speaking of putting his foot down, Martin was nearly 2 seconds at one point behind our Wayne. He's got the gap down to 1.1 coming into the final couple of corners. He won't get DRS on the start-finish stroke, but depending on how they both fare through these next couple of corners, he could get it out of a Rouge and Radion. Our Wayne's had a good exit, actually. No, take it all back. He's just found just over 4 tenths in that sequence there. So Martin's had a bit of a scrappy end to the lap.
So, just to give you an idea of how much time Dumbus Hornet is losing on the straights, in the run to the bus stop, he lost nearly 4 tenths on that straight alone.
That
compared
is
to GTS Drag King.
The saving grace from here is he's not got anyone close behind him. He's got 3 seconds to Alex Jarek. We're on board with GTS Drag King, who's lining up Moritz. Moritz flashing away out of battery, not fighting this one. GTS Drag King in the Williams takes another position. So back to the front, and Martin bringing the gap down again from 1.5 it was at the start-finish line. It's now at 1.3. So the man in the Ferrari looking to bring home some big points for the red team. His teammate Mark Hodgson is in the back of the train that is just starting to drop off from this top 4 fight. Stoom P5 in a very respectful position. He had a good season in Tier 3 last season, did Stoom, now in Tier 2, showing that he does belong in this tier without any doubt.
Yeah,
got his good friend
showing some pace.
He's got his good friend Mark Hodgson in P6 just behind him, his fellow T-sider.
And you know, if both of them aren't careful, Kaiser's directly behind them, and they've got Luca in close proximity as well. But now this is where it starts to become, as most fans would call it, a boring race. As we see both make a mistake. Mark making a mistake
Yeah,
and
Soze's through.
Stu.
Soze goes through, and Moritz was 3 seconds off this train. He's now in the mix, and here we go. Soze looking at a move in turn 1 on the Stu, as we see the camera that's on the cable. That's a wicked look. That's an awesome angle you get through turn 1 with the camera floating over the track. I'm going to stick on board with Soze here. I expect the move from the Papaya Man for P5 here. He downshifts going through Radion there, interestingly, on the way through the hill, which is an interesting approach. Personally, if that's what works for him, I don't know why he'd do that, but he's not quite got the speed to get the job done at the end of the straight. But Stube does look awfully twitchy at the rear, it has to be said. Look how close these two, and then obviously Mark. Oh, and Stube's had a huge moment! Stube had a huge moment on the exit of Lecom as they go down into Bruxelles. And round the outside goes Soze, round the outside. What a move. And he's held on into No Name. That is fantastic driving from Kaiser Soze.
What a beautiful move.
What a move.
And I expect Mark to follow suit within a few corners as Stube is looking
Look at him already. He's already looking at him into the S's. Stube positions his car to defend me inside. Mark sensibly backs out. It's another corner, you can go for the move, but you've got to really be ballsy to go for it, and you've got to be able to pull it off cleanly, and it's difficult. So
yeah, because you don't have that proper braking force to slow the cars down.
No, you don't. The big issue Mark's got now is Stube's going to get DRS and slipstream from Soze, so unless he drops off hard, or unless he fancies a very big send with a lot of battery, Mark is going to have to be patient now, unless he's got something up his sleeve, because Stube will have the DRS and slipstream, and Soze's round at the bus stop. Kaiser Soze drops at the bus stop. So last lap it was Stube leaving this train, dropping at the bus stop. Mark avoiding him. This lap Soze leaving the train, then drops at the bus stop.
I'm wondering if they might be running too low brake bars.
Yeah. 53 or 54. It needs to be up to 55 if it is too low. Personally, I run a 54. I find 54 is fine, but that was a huge moment from both Soze and Stube the last couple laps. And that Stube back up to P5. That gives Mark the chance he needed. We were saying about how Stube had a DRS and that was going to save him. But look at GTS in the mix too. And that's Mark having a move. Stube and GTS side by side. GTS backs out of it.
And he goes for the switchback.
Oh, just hangs on. And Lucas now having a look at GTS. And then Moritz, of course, just being patient, playing the game as well. Soze will be really upset with himself. P5 down to P10 in that sequence of corners.
And not just that, with the spin like that, it just eat the rear tyres as well. The tyres overheat, and now you have to cool the tyres down and try to keep the tyre wear low as well.
Definitely. Martin, by the way, speaking about DRS, Martin and Airways are both within DRS of Elwain. So Elwain's pace at the start was formidable. That is not in question. But what is in question now is, does he have the tyre? Does he have the grip? Does Elwain use this now? And the big pressure from the Ferrari and the Alpine behind, does he pit to save himself from the potential move? Or does he continue for another lap? He does pit, and so does Martin. Airways takes a chance to continue, take the lead of the race. Pole skips continues as well, as does Mark. He has to, his teammate has just pitted. And he's got that train of cars behind him. You can see it's Stube, GTS, Lucas, Moritz, Kaiser Soze, all in close quarters down that start-finish straight. Oh, yeah. Ever so close between Moritz and Lucas into turn 1.
The only thing I'm looking at is Elwain looks to be coming out behind a gaggle of cars, as they'll have the momentum now coming down the...
just behind Nick. But that could be good for him actually, because they'll get the slipstream and DRS from Nick, which actually that could save him. Martin's got Bit and Alex ahead of him, between him and Elwain. They were literally 0.7, 0.8 apart. Elwain's now got free track, as Martin, behind them, is actually fighting with both Bit and with Lorpy as well. So he's now got to negotiate Alex Jarek and then Nick BT before Martin can get after our former race leader, Elwain. That could be a difficult challenge for Martin. We know Alex is a very hard fighter, but how much tyre grip has Alex got left? Those hards, okay, they're 10 laps old, it's not awful, but Martin's brand new hards will be better.
The first penalty as well.
Yeah, it's mad, we've got this long without any penalties, which is good going. to go 10 laps without any penalties.
But yeah, Martin is really under pressure because I think he's going to catch them going into the bus stop. More or less, he will have the DRS down the Camel Straight, but the issue is the cars in front of him, like Alex, will have DRS off Nick. And of course, I doubt they'll.
Yeah, the leaders pit, Airways and Polsky are in. Let's see where those two come out. Mark Hodgson's in as well, as is Stu Moritz and Soze. Oh, I tell you what, there's a lot of pitches and a lot of lockups on Bulwer Marston into the bus stop. He's looking at the back of Alex Jarek, and with all those cars in the pits, this is a great chance for those that have just pitted to just firm up their position compared to the guys currently in the box. Martin in P7
Airways is just behind Martin. Martin
just hit the
didn't
wall.
lose too much time.
Airways has hit the wall on the exit, no damage, but he's just come out ahead of Lorpy. Martin, with DRS on Alex, needs to get the move done. Alex not in DRS of Nick, who is in DRS of Elwain, and yeah, here goes Martin, easy pass for DRS. He needs to now get on to the chase. The chase is on, 2.1 seconds to Elwain, who was our race leader, who is actually being hung on to by Nick BT on those old tyres. We know Nick's a tier 1 driver, but that's still respectable for someone on much older, harder tyres, compared to his hard tyres, to be hanging on so well.
Yeah, definitely. And looking at other drivers who's also doing quite well, which I thought would have pitted by now, is Alex, being on 10 lap old hards, but still being in the fight. Nick BT would most likely go to the end on his hard tyres, because he's pitted twice as well.
Yeah, he'll have to put on the penultimate lap as per the higher tier rules, but yeah, he'll go the distance from here. As for Lorpy in P8, he pitted lap 1 after getting that wing damage on the opening lap, as did Fate Connor in P10, and then he got Smith P11 who's on the lap 10 old hards from the start. Those guys will all pit probably the next few laps. Drag King and Lucas are in, so Elwain will resume the race lead as he had before. Airways on the back of Alex now.
Elwain really has the advantage here. We know he did drop off with his tyre wear at the end of the first sector, and I believe that if he is eating his tyres more than what Martin and Airways are, they might catch up to him a little bit later on, but for now he can be quite comfortable. Just sit back, don't push as hard, save the tyres, and he basically has it in the pocket if he keeps it like this.
Indeed, Airways making the move on Alex for P4. So that's what will become P3 for Airways, back to where he was. And we've got Lorpy, and Lorpy and Alex are doing very respectful jobs on, and Fate Connor and Smith as well, on those old tyres. They're all still in the mix. Yes, they will drop to the back when they do eventually pit. Of course they will, but what will be interesting to see is on those new mediums when they do get them on, how quickly do they make ground, because they will have a lot of pace. Fate Connor becomes the second driver to pick up a time limit penalty. That's for track limits. And then Alex Jarek also follows suit. Interestingly, Martin was 2.5 seconds behind the start of this lap, behind the race leader. He's now down to 2.1, almost in DRS of Nick. Nick is just hanging on to the edge of the DRS from Elwain. If Martin can get in Nick's DRS, and Nick either does or doesn't have DRS from Elwain, that could pull Martin really close into the mix. And Airways, having pitted 1 lap later, is only 1.4 seconds further back from Martin. So, the fight for P1 between Airways, Martin and Elwain, they all pitted in 3 different laps. Oh, 2 different laps, sorry, because Elwain and Martin came in lap 9, and then Airways is lap 10. These guys are definitely all in slightly different strategies and plans, but they are all in the mix. And yep, here we go, Nick does not have a DRS, Martin does, so... Oh, Martin very nearly hits the back of Nick, as Nick had a huge lockup. Martin take a bait of action. Will that cost him a DRS? No, Martin's still within it, so that's fine. But it has cost them both time to Elwain. So Martin...
But look at the wonderful slipstream he'll have out of the Radeon right now.
Up the hill he finds so much time. Big slipstream, big DRS. Nick stays to the left, knowing full well that this is not his fight. Up goes Martin up the inside into P2. Back where he was before the pit stops and the fight. He's had to work a bit harder than Elwain to get back into position, and that's just because of where he came back out following the pit stops. Nick having a cheeky look around the outside of Bruxelles. He's allowed to fight. It's a fight. It's a fair fight, although it will wind up Martin, who is now back to 2.6 seconds behind Elwain because he's had to fight with Nick. And then Airways will be watching this intently, thinking of his own prospects for the race win, knowing that he needs to pass both of these guys. Pole skips.
Airways is now in DRS.
He is. So pole skips in the Mercedes, doing a good job in P5. His teammate Schmidt in P8 can do him a favour by holding up the likes of GTS, Mark, Moritz, Stube and Soze, and Lucas and Donington as well, actually, to name well. There's a huge train behind Schmidt and Fake Connor. There's a huge train of cars, which, in the nicest possible way, they are not going to make any progress.
As we know, Schmidt is a very feisty driver. He likes to be aggressive, so I think if he does play the team game, he is one of the preferred drivers I'll want to have on my side here. He just needs to try and keep DRS on the car in front.
You do, definitely do. Lorpy's just pitted, by the way. He's had enough of the hard tyres after 12 laps. So end of lap 13 heat boxes, and here we go. Nick BT under attack from Airways, who's 6 tenths behind.
Moving to Rouge, and Smith just gives it up to GTS Drag King. He doesn't really fight it, which is very uncharacteristic for Smith. Very,
but interestingly, Nick BT getting DRS from single track still meant that he could defend from Airways. Martin now 3.1 and growing behind our race leader Elwain. Now looking a little bit more comfortable for the man in the Aston Martin. However, the Ferrari man of single track will be looking to press on, and as we said earlier, in the latter part of that first stint, Martin came very strong. Elwain's pace did drop off quite drastically. Will we see the same thing happen on this tyre? I know the hard lasts longer than the medium. I know it's a better tyre. But is Elwain using the tyres too aggressively? Is Martin just being gentle with them? And obviously there's also the possibility of one of these drivers making a mistake. So this race is not over.
Yeah, as we see Martin almost out of DRS, but now Nick's starting to claw back a little bit.
Yeah, be using the battery to get back in contention, won't they? Keeping himself relevant, keeping himself in the mix. He does need to pit again at least once, as per the high tier rules. And Airways having a look on the exit. Nick got very twitchy.
Yeah, he's struggling with the traction zones right now on those 12 lap hold hards. As he struggles out of La Source, and he still gets within DRS though. I won't say he struggled too much.
But look at Airways on board there. He's looking back. Look how quickly he's gaining up the hill. And this will be an easy pass for Airways. Both of them got DRS. Nick again, just like we saw with Martin, stays to the left. And Airways, that's a very comfortable pass for the Alpine. And the top three is as it was at the start of the race. It's the same three cars back in the top three again.
Yeah, Nick, Smith is the final pit stop car, as he is directly behind Jackster and that
he's making the move
of DRS train as well.
Look at that, he's going to get two if he's lucky here. You've got G-Star and Bit fighting ahead. Sorry, G-Star and Fake Connor fighting ahead. And no, look at that, the fight back from... We look at Jackster and G-Star, the fight back from G-Star, the two Dutchies going at it. We love to see a bit of Dutch on Dutch.
As now Smith getting close. This is so close.
Tell you what, we love seeing the close fighting like this. This is what MRC is all about. Oh, there's a collision! Oh, why did I open my mouth? No. Why did I open my mouth? This is what MRC is all about, followed by G-Star putting it in the wall. And that is the second safety car of the race. I'd expect to see everyone box for a set of mediums. And as before, if you'd like to report me for my comments, please report at ChrisBailey517, saying a comment which led to a collision and race-ending impact. The commentator's curse at its finest, twice in one race.
Oh, yeah, I think I might start believing in the commentator's curse.
Sir, there's no need to believe. I'm sorry, no, there is a need to believe. You must. It is real. It is very real. And look at that. The only driver not to pit is Lucas Jaranek. He's the only driver so far not to pit in the Alpine. And you know what? Lucas has gained a good number of positions. He's come out in P3, just behind Silver Track, just ahead of Airways, which actually, he's on those hards at 4-lap hold. It's worth a gamble. To start on the race, the restart, he will struggle. No question. But at the end of the race, he'll bring a similar life of tyre to the others in terms of percentage of wear. So he's gained a few positions from doing it. It could be worth the gamble. It might not be. But for Martin and Mel Wayne, that puts Airways out of sync slightly with them. I would be quite concerned if I was Airways about dealing with Lucas. I know he's his teammate, but will he play the team game? As Josh Mullins makes a very good point, saying we need a reshuffle of commentators because there's too much cursing going on. You know what, Josh? You're a Chelsea fan, so I don't often want to agree with you and your type of people, but I'm going to. You are correct.
He is a Chelsea fan.
Josh was a Chelsea fan, so we don't listen to him. However, good sir, I agree with you, and for that, I will take a month ban from commentary because of my words causing such a thing. Dare I say that we're going to have a clean race to the end from here? Dare I say it? No, I just did.
No,
so
we're not.
We're having a clean race to the end. We're having no more chaos. Tier 2 boys and girls, listen to me now. I beg of you, no more chaos. Of course, into Lecom, we're not going to have any crashes on the safety car restart. Thoughts and prayers with the Racing Bull Visa Cash App RB Racing team, of course, because they've had a 19th and 20th double DNF today. I'm sure there'll be strong words back in the garage at the end of the race. Both G-Star and Andrew will, I'm sure, be quite upset and disappointed with their results, but nevertheless, it's just one race. We have plenty more for the rest of the season. This is only round 3 of 16. Yes, 16 races. And races coming up include the brilliant, wonderful Zandvoort and Azerbaijan Baku Street Circuit. Are the next 2 races coming up, which another 2 firm favourites of both races in MRC and real life races too. Goldie, B17 says Hammer Time Steve. You know what, he's in P11, he could have been P5, I have to say it, Carl, he could have been P5. Soze was in a great position over the race before he dropped it all by himself, and I'm really sad that he did that because he's a good friend of mine, my ex-teammate. But yes, you're right, Hammer Time, get your foot down, son, because there's places to make.
Speaking of someone who wants to get his foot down, which I'll point out first, Laupi is on the soft tyres, which is a bold move.
It's a great move in my opinion. I think that's a great shout. The tyres will be shocking at the end of the race, but it'll make positions. And if there's chaos, well, there's opportunity.
And the second thing I'd just like to point out, you using Azerbaijan and brilliant in the same sentence was not on my bingo card.
Right.
That is an absolute shocking race.
Now, all I'm going to say is, do you remember Daniel Ricciardo in the first year at Baku when he made that superb four-car send?
That was in 2017, the second year.
Oh, so 2017, yes. It was the second year, I apologise. 2016, Rosberg won the first one, yes.
2016 was when Perez got the podium.
It was, yeah. So, we've seen some brilliant moments in Baku. We've seen some chaos.
Yeah, and Lance Stroll losing the piece to Bottas on the line.
Yes, the drag race to the line. What a scene that was. So those are the next 2 races coming up in MRC. So if Belgium's not your fancy, then you're weird. You're a weird creature if you don't like Belgium. But you can look forward to the next 2 races, and obviously I'm sure the RB boys will be. It's Zandvoort followed by Baku in response to your comment, Andrew. Ashley even. I keep mixing you 2 up. Apologies. So Zandvoort next in the Netherlands, followed by Baku. And then Monza, Kota, Red Bull Ring, Las Vegas, Melbourne, Shanghai, Qatar, Suzuka, Silverstone, Jeddah, and finally Montreal to round off the 16 race calendar. So plenty of both exciting and fun tracks to come, which that's what we love.
The longest calendar in MRC history, if I'm not mistaken.
The longest by 3 or 4 races. I think it's 3 races. Ashley Bassman says some good tracks. Connor Hardy, hello sir, he's alive. Connor's here, everyone. The head of commentary is listening. I must behave. Let's no more curses because Connor's listening. Connor Connor says, like the video or he'll do some damage to you. And some damage could be done at the restart as Lil Wayne is preparing. The safety car is in. L. Wayne is lining himself up to get the cars going, to get the party started. We're going to jump on board with single track. This means we can watch L. Wayne's reaction on start and see how he drops or doesn't drop the chasing pack. And he's done the same things he did last time. Goes on the wide line through the first stop and gets a great launch. Look at that, 0.8 of a second gap into turn 1 on Martin. Let's look at the chasing pack. The two Alpines swapping positions already. I don't know if that was intentional or did Lucas just go wide. I think it's probably the second, if I'm honest. But here we go. Nick BT having a big look at the top of the hill as Lucas gets twitchy, and now Nick is going to have a look along the outside. Do the Alpines work together here? I think they should. But no, Lucas is out of... Woo! Few moves from Lucas there, it has to be said.
Him.
If I'm honest, that was a few too many moves from Lucas, and he now goes off track. He'll have to concede. Himself. He'll have to concede, and Nick is through. Nick will not be happy with that driving. And I don't blame him. That was not how I'd have behaved, if I'm honest. But here we go. Polskitz will now have a look at the man in the Alpine. And he has a look into No Name and bails out of it. But now your favourite of all... Oh, no, he's not going to do it into P1. He's going to do it way before P1. And next up is GTS Drag King. And he's having a look on the exit. Oh! Wow, he has to get off the throttle as Lucas just cuts him off and through goes Moritz. And GTS is now, because of that, taking avoiding action, and he's off. He's in the gravel and taking avoiding action. Oh, the chaos, the chaos. It's back. And here we go. Mark H90 and Moritz are now having a look at the back of Lucas. Lucas has got very little pace. He's struggling for grip on those hard tyres as we feared. The warm-up is not good on the hard tyre, and the others have got newer and warmer tyres, more rubber to play with. And as we know, more rubber. Oh, this is contact between Moritz and Lucas. Wheel barging on the way into the bus stop, and Mark will try and pick up the pieces on the exit. Can he? No, he can't. But here goes Moritz. Side by side, all three of them in turn 1. And all three of them side by side.
This
Mark
is getting
on the
too
outside.
close.
Yep, and look at that. Lucas goes so deep. Mark Hodgson with the double switchback on the pair of them. What a move from Hodgie in the Ferrari. That's
Mark
P6.
is going to be under pressure going up in through Al Rouge and Radio.
Will, as Moritz gets all over the curb. Ooh, kneeling to the back of the Ferrari. We're going to jump forward to Polskitz and Nick BT. Polskitz makes the move to P4. And Lucas is going for them both. He's going to dive. Mark's not defended it. Why has he not defended it? Right on the outside, Mark just hanging on. Can he? He does. And there's contact. But Mark hangs on for dear life. Is Lucas going to send it here? He does. Mark's wise and goes deep in post. Oh, Lucas has hit him and spins. He's just got it going again, but that was, in my opinion, reckless. Absolutely reckless from Lucas Jaranek, and I'm not afraid to say it. Lap 19 has definitely not been the finest lap of his racing career in MRC.
Yeah,
let's have a quick look at the race
on his
leader.
old tyres. So we see Al Wayne feeling very comfortable currently in P1. I think he doesn't have any worries at the moment.
Well, you say that, you just open your mouth. You just open your mouth. Scout, you.
I had to do it for the interest of the racing.
Plot. You've done it for the plot. For the plot. So here we go. Let's jump on board with this front two. Martin definitely doesn't seem quite so confident through that second part of the bus stop as maybe other drivers do. But 8 tenths is the gap. He's got plenty of battery, as you can see from his wheel. He needs to stay in the DRS, and he's dropped just outside of it. That is vital. He did not get the DRS before Eau Rouge. He was 2 to 3 hundredths outside of it. And look, no flap action for Martin tonight. Some would say that's a failure of a night. Some would say it's a quiet night. I say that's a lack of overtaking night. Mark, I'm trying to take it away from the innuendos I accidentally brought on. Mark now having a look at the back of Nick VT. Can he get Nick and get back into P5 and then chase down for P4 from Polskitz? Who knows? Moritz is in the mix with them too, and then there's Stube and Kaiser Soze. Lorpy on the soft tyres, it's not quite working. He did make the positions. He's up to P10, but he's now...
He's made 5 positions, which
He
isn't
did,
too bad, but
he's now looking
defend.
vulnerable. Obviously, you've got the likes of Lucas and Fake Connor on the hard tyres around them, but then you've got the medium runners just behind them. I think Lorpy could be in a little bit of trouble. The soft tyre gamble hasn't quite paid off, but what gamble is paying off is Lucas Elwain even in P1, absolutely flying. He's found another 2 attempts in that middle sector on single track, but Martin's now reeling him in this final sector. Could this be a case of battery usage? Is this a battery war between the two? Is Martin using it slightly wiser? Is he running lower wings?
Looking at the wheels, they look fairly similar in terms of battery. I think Martin might be running slightly lower wings, but
I think so.
has less front end grip. Judging off, if you look at La Source, he just loses.
He's just understage so deep. He's washing out. He's the same in the second part of bus stop. In the left-hander, he's just turning in, and the car is not going where he necessarily would like it to. So it looks to me, with 2 laps to go, that Elwain is going to hold on. Let's look at the Nick BT Mark Moritz fight. These 3 here, that fight is alive. And there we go, over the head.
Might have a run on Mark here.
He does, yeah. Moritz is going to have the job on Mark. Mark is out of battery, flashing away. Moritz up the inside for Haas, and yep, there you go. P6 for the Haas man.
And Moritz, I just want to point this out.
Started at the back.
P19 on the grid,
yep.
On the grid, up to P6. What a race he's had thus far.
So, one thing I always say is you never say die, never say never. Fight to the end, because you never know what's going to come later in this race. And
Alex is off.
In the other Haas, Alex Ajeric, it's a shame. He was having a great race prior. He did the alternative strategy at the start, which didn't quite pay off, but he's still in the mix. And now Moritz will have a look at Nick VT on this last lap. Well, Nick VT's actually got to pit this lap, so that frees up Mark and Moritz. So as long as Mark can stay within DRS, or get back within it, he can have a go at Moritz from this last lap. So, by the way, Martin actually, sorry, I cursed it early. Martin's within 8/10 of Elwain, so we're going to jump to the front. Apologies for everyone behind.
And he goes wide. The front end isn't gripping up at all.
Yeah, that's dropped him again out of DRS. Martin, when it matters most, is dropped out of that DRS gap to the car ahead. And again, turn 1, the wash. He's just got so little turn in at turn 1, it's painful to see. And look at the time he's lost, 2/10. 2/10. He was 8/10 behind going into the bus stop. He's 1.2 out of La Source. 2/10 out of each section. That will surely be it for Elwain. Surely from here. Looking back, Mark did not... Oh, he did get the DRS, but he's not close. Nick with 2 picks of penalty.
Laupi might be going for a move on...
Mr. Caesar. He's not close enough, I don't think. Let's look further back as Bit is side by side with Jackster. And Jackster holds position from the Williams man. Further down the order, obviously the guys that have pitted have obviously now surfaced, and Elwain looks here to be fairly comfortable. 1.6 seconds to the good. As a yellow flag, Nick BT has lost it. The exit of Lecom, the third part, as we're just on board with GTS Drag King, and there he is on the right hand side. So, anywho, any battles through the last sector doesn't look likely. So let's jump to our race leader, Elwain. He's led from pole to flag, with the exception of a couple of laps under that first round of pit stops. When he pitted on lap 9, he briefly dropped behind the charging trio of Airways, pole skips, and a few others behind. He takes a little weave over the line. He just hangs on, as does Martin. And that is a lovely win for Elwain. P2 for single track, P3 for Airways, well deserved, and pole skips takes P4. Moritz P5 and Mark Hodgson.
As Lucas slides, but it's on the switchback.
Oh, chaos at the back. You can just see at the top of the screen. Wow. So Lorpy on the softs in the end did take them P8. Stu P9, Lucas P10. Bergen, you're right. I am washed. I'm more washed than your tea towels. Wow. P11 for Smith, good recovery there for him. P12 for Bit. Jackster from last to 13th. He won't be happiest, but he won't be unhappy either. 14 for P14 for Fake Connor, and then we'll round out the rest of the grid shortly. If you have a little think, Shalk, if you've got a drive of the day, that'd be great. Have a little think, and we'll just run through the rest of the order.
Okay. So my driver of the day.
Yep.
You know what? I'll give it to Moritz. I think he's deserved it. Definitely, my second shout would be Alwaint, but definitely Moritz with his comeback drive all the way up into P5.
Difficult to argue with that. 19th to P5. I know the chaos definitely helped him, of course, but you know what? Credit where it's due. That the fight with Mark at the end was actually very, very good racing, great racecraft, and he had pace to match. So the podium trio, Elway and Single Track Airways, congratulations to them all. Great notable mentions of pole skips. Moritz, Mark, Soze, Lorpe, Stu and Lucas Jornick for the top 10, although I have to be honest, Lucas, you might be in trouble with the stewards because you have had a bit of a chaotic race. Smith P11, Bit P12, Jackster P13 on his return. 3 months without a race, by the way. Fake Connor P14, Dumbest Hornet P15, Alex 16th, 17th GTS, 18th Nick, 19th and 20th DNFs of the two RBs. My drive of the day, I'm actually going to agree with you, completely agree. Moritz, what a drive from him. Notable shouts from Martin. It's his first podium, by the way, in a good while. Great pace for Railway for the win. And I did say Polskitz would win the race. He didn't quite deliver, but he did get a good solid P4. And a good shout out for Lorpe, 15th to 8th, and then a gamble on the sauce at the end. But I'm going to stick like you with, of course, Moritz.
Yeah.
So everyone, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching, and thank you everyone who just, gave it absolute beans all race long, gave it stacking, really showed us why the Tier 2 boys have such great racing and great pace. Of course, if you have any desire for some more racing tonight, good news, Tier 1 is next in just 27 minutes time actually. We will be starting the Tier 1 qualifying session here from the circuit Spa-Francorchamps on Belgium. Myself and Scott will be racing. We're friends off track and on track, so hopefully we won't collide. But thank you, my friend. It's finally we've done some comms together. We've been joking about this for a while. We've finally done the comms, and it's been great to finally do it. Thank you for joining me, mate.
Thank you very much for having me. I'll be writing a apology to let you to before our race.
I think we should. Good luck on track, my friend, and good luck to all Tier 1 racers for the Tier 1 race to come, and well done to all Tier 2 drivers for today's race. Have a lovely evening, everyone. See you soon, and have a good night.